All right, here we go. So here we are on the left angle cross of duality with the 5-1 profile. So with the 5-1 profile, we have the left angle cross of duality, and the duality is the pure left angle influence of the unconscious 4037. This is the understanding something about the nature of busyness that's here to support the bond. It's here to support the basic bond. Remember that in the genetic level, every single cross, every single profile has an underlying theme of making more, being fertile, being reproductive. Every variation of every cross has to be in the world in order for the world to function. One of the underlying themes for me in laying out all of this knowledge all over the years is that I know when it comes to the engineering of life, that if we don't know how to fill in all the variations, we're not going to make it work because you have to have it all. When you look at the world, the first thing you understand about our drive to build is that the drive to build must be based on dualities. It's always about dualities. It's always about polarities. It's not surprising for me that there were pyramids in Egypt and pyramids in Mexico. And I don't need to discover whether some idiot was able to go in a reed boat all the way across some Egyptian that was going to take the drive. It's not surprising to me because the form principle operates that way. There's always something on the other side, and it creates some of the basic things, which is the tribe is rooted in competitiveness, and that competitiveness creates this and that. Concretization, phenomenon driven by the motor of the 2034. The 2034 is enslaved by the building of the tribal environment. And all the tribal environments, if you look, I find it incredible because I spend a lot of time in information hunting. And when you look at the development of civilization across the globe, the plane, when you look at a certain stage of development over here, you have something, and all of a sudden over here, you've got it. And they've got all these things about morphogenics fields, and simultaneously, and travelers bringing it back, or aliens seeding it in two locations, and on and on. That's the fundamental principle, it's there. There's always some kind of counterforce in the this or that, always. It's always fun for me. People come to Ibiza and say, I've heard that Ibiza's polarity is Goa, or I've heard that Ibiza's polarity is Sedona. It's naturally inside of it. Something comes over here, it's going to come over here, and it's going to be different. If you grow up in Ibiza, your mother is a witch. And if you grow up in Sedona, your mother is an angel. They're really very different places. When I landed in Sedona, I walked through there and I thought, what are these people talking about? I have three open motors, and when I step into a piece of ground, what goes through our body, and I'm walking around, nothing. There are people talking over there, and those fields, energy. Everybody I met was seeing UFOs, and I'm thinking, wow, is this ever a gentle, sweet environment? It was nauseating. You land in Ibiza, you put your foot on the ground, and the witch already has your leg. The moment you put your foot down, it comes right out of the earth and grabs your leg and says, now you be very careful. I can't tell you how many people I've watched come to the island and leave on crutches, and worse and much worse and much worse. Don't bring your infant babies here. Oh, I'm serious. I know two that have died here. Don't bring your infant babies here. The island is ruled by Tanit, the priestess took child sacrifice. Ibiza is a scorpion island. It's not a place of love. Wow. So whenever you have these places in the world, it's like some moment there's Silicon Valley in California, and the next moment there's Silicon Valley in Bangalore, India. And this is the principle that there is this duality. It's very important. It's like when you have it in the village. One guy went into the village and he finally built himself what he thinks is the house, and the other end of the village immediately there's somebody who's going to put up something else that's going to be the polarity of it. And you have it in everything, always. There's always this tendency in humanity to go to the polarity. So when you have a 5-1, what they're really doing on this cross is they don't think in those terms, obviously. What they don't recognize is the moment they put their busyness and their communal connections to work. What they create in form immediately generates space out there in the neutrino ocean for its polarity to rise. I've been able to watch in my lifetime the transformation of the world into a place that was not well known when I was born, in a place that is deeply intimate to all of us, no matter who we live. This is the enormous explosion, an explosion that takes place on a bizarre parallels to this. You put McDonald's over here, you put McDonald's over there. The whole idea of globalization. The whole essence of that is rooted here. Be busy in building the tribe, and every tribe is competition with every other tribe. Busy in the now, busy competing in the now. The 5-2, like all 5-2s, is going to be reticent to make any kind of contributions, and we know that the 5-1 is actually the exponent of the hexagram. And you know clearly that the 5-1 is here to go to channel the physical activity to the benefit of the community. What's missing is the 43-23. You will see very clearly that the relationship between the 43-23 cross configuration and this left angle configuration is the very base of this life. Direction of the planet in form as human is what it's all about. And of course, what it really represents is that the tribe isn't successful, always in channeling the energy of the 2034. And it's only the tribal relationship to the 4323 that the three of them together can actually bring about the efficient structuring of the manifesting generator capacity in order to enrich the tribal life. This really is what it's all about. And that's why then when I talk about bonding, I talk about that the collective and individuality have problems with each other. The middle ground is always the tribe. The tribe will always take in the individual because it needs to enrich its gene pool. And the collective will listen to the tribe because the collective realizes that the tribe is what it has to change. That the tribe has to become more and more integrated into the collective whole. And this is where we are today. This is the fix what we in are today. And the very fact that we have this and what led us to the point in which we are reaching a place of genuine conflict, in which the last stand of the tribe is the face of the collective onslaught, and that the individual efficiently structuring has made the collective so powerful. We know that. If you're from a small tribe with your God and there's this enormous international foreign alien web that surrounds you, it's truly threatening from that perspective. The other thing is that because of the not self, we have a balance in law of duality. The law of duality is that this and that, and the this and the that have a difference only in reflection to each other, but in value they're the same. This is the equilibrium. And what we've seen in this movement is that there are many parts of the world that don't have the same advantages. They're only now beginning to get their McDonald's. They're now only being able to get their mobile phones, and so forth and so on. A 5-2 manifesting general is going to be somebody who risks being ill a lot because they're going to really be, if you're 5-2 and you're whole paranoid and you've got an unconscious that is pulling you back, you're holding back an enormous amount of energy that needs to be active, that needs to work properly. And of course, for the fifth type personality, you're going to have all this paranoia that comes with being trapped into something that you're not really equipped to do that can blow up in your face. 5-2s by their nature are very great participants. Yet at the same time, given the nature of this as a form principle of civilization, again, this can be these hidden Buddhas, the ones that have a dream of building something that nobody gets to see, the dream of what can be realized for the benefit of the community, the energy that can be applied to the building of the right for the community. If you don't integrate the community into the now, you end up with Osama bin Ladens. You end up with people that hate the West because they're disadvantaged. They have hate the West because they're poor and the West is rich. They hate all that. It's understandable. This is an enormous pressure to bring everyone through the collective, the logic. Remember, they want to bring everybody to the same time. You can see that all fundamentalism is all about going back in time. This is not about the now. This is the great failure. We're trying to drag them all into this artificial time. There are some cultures that are going to have to move very slowly to what it is to median time frame to go from enclaves in various places in the world where you really have 21st century lifestyles and places on the planet where you clearly have 12th century lifestyles. This is the root of the deepest conflicts that we have, and it comes from the basic form principle. It's a basic form principle of the universe of keeping up with the lone Jonases. It's just is. And community are successful based on the material development. How proud the medieval village to build its first church, even though it took the lives of lifetimes of 40 or 50 craftsmen. It was a wonder. And not only that, but the very wonder one of them doing it lead to the village further down to build its own. This chain reaction then is possible. How powerful these heresies can be in terms of the way it moves form into the world.